Hey guys, it's Deborah with our tapping tip for the week. And I want to talk about what I'll call prejudging results. So a lot of times what will happen is we'll do a session and then at the end of the session, it looks like nothing happened or it looks like very little happened. And as practitioners, we all really care about results. We just want our people to get better. And so we walk out of there feeling like we're somehow a failure or a disappointment and something terrible has happened. Maybe we're not good at what we do, whatever. But for someone who's been doing this for almost 20 years, I can tell you that what someone walks out of there with and what they get from the session are not necessarily the same thing. I remember one time working with this woman who had experienced her fiance dying. It had been a terrible death. He had been beheaded. She'd had to identify the body, and it was terrible. And she had been stuck in that experience for many years, maybe 20 years. She hadn't been able to move on with her life. She still lived with his parents. She hadn't been able to work. She hadn't been able to recover from that in any way. So she came to me and we did a session. And at the end of it, she went away and I thought, not much had happened, And so I felt so disappointed about that for a really long time, especially because she didn't come back again. And normally something like that, you think you're going to need a few sessions for things to get better. So then finally, many years later, I saw her out at a party or something, and she's like, "Oh my God, you changed my life." And after that one session, I was able to get a job. I was able to move out onto my own. I was able to move on with my life. And she said the reason I didn't come back was because I didn't need it. And over my career, I have heard that so many times. Or they contact you the next morning and they go, I really liked that. It was much better than I thought. I feel better, blah, blah, blah. You don't know. You don't know. So don't prejudge the quality of the session and what happened because of what they tell you at the end of it. It's really not the indicator. The other thing to realize is sometimes EFT takes time to process. No one ever talks about that. We talk about the one-hit wonders, but we never talk about the slow process that's sometimes involved in getting people better. Sometimes they need many sessions, and that's really common, and that's okay. But if someone doesn't get the results that you think they're going to get in that first session, really don't worry about it, because the thing you'll get to know over time is that EFT always works. You don't necessarily always see the results, but it always works. Hope this helps, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.